Okay, so welcome back. We're going to do one more problem. I promised you I would do one where I have a fixed amount and a changing amount. Um, yeah, actually, I totally had space out there, but that's what I promised you, so let's do that. Earlier, I had some problems here about McDonald's, so then I thought it would be appropriate because we had so many problems about McDonald's that now we have a problem about losing weight. So let's look at this. And actually, this is a situation you'll come upon a lot when you have to choose between two options. So it says you ate too much at McDonald's and need to join a fitness center. Workouts R Us charges a $300 startup fee plus $50 a month. Weight Be Gone charges $400 startup fee, but only costs $25 per month. How long do you need to go to break even? Okay, and this does come up a lot. Sometimes you have to choose between two options, and one might be more expensive initially, but cheaper in the long run. Like if you're buying a phone or getting a cable package or whatever. But I think this is going to be a situation where for each separate thing, for Workouts R Us, we have an initial fixed cost and we have a changing cost. And for Weight Be Gone, we have a fixed initial cost and a changing cost. So in that case, you use y equals mx plus b. On the problem we did before, we used ax plus by equals c. But here we're going to use y equal mx plus b. For each of these, let's let x equal the number of months that we go. And let's let y equal the total money that we spend. Okay? So, for Workouts R Us, the total for Workouts R Us. So y is going to stand for the total of each of them. It's going to do double duty here. So Workouts R Us has a $300 startup fee plus $50 a month. And that is the slope-intercept form that we're going to use to solve this. So startup, fixed amount, monthly fee, changing amount. Let's do the same thing for Weight Be Gone. Startup of 400 and changing amount of 25 per month. Okay, so 25x plus 400. And then we can solve this using substitution because we've got y by itself. So I'm going to take this and plug it in for y in the other equation. So I get 25x plus 400 equals 50x plus 300. And then I will subtract 300 because it's smaller. Actually, you know what? I should move the x's first. Normally we move the x's first. So let me subtract 25 because it's smaller. That will move all the x's to one side. So I bring down the 400 and I get 25x plus 300. And then I will move the 300 away from the x so that x is by itself. And over here I get 400 minus 300. That ends up being 100 equals 25x. And divide everything by 25 and you get x equal to 4. So 4 is the number of months we would go to both of these before we would break even. So if you knew you were going to go more than 4 months, then you should join the one with the smaller amount, which would be $25. If you knew you weren't going to go 4 months, then I would probably pay the smaller startup fee and the higher monthly fee because I'm not going to go for that many months. So as you go more months, you want a smaller monthly fee and you would be willing to accept a slightly larger startup fee. Now, again, there's one thing that I'm doing about all these problems that's not super good. I'm kind of going through them very quickly, and that might give you the impression that, there's something weird or different about me and that you can't do what I'm doing. When you're going through these problems, there's no big secret to solving them. You can do this. What you need to do to be able to solve these, you just need to read them carefully and slowly and reread them and ask yourself questions like, what is the fixed amount? Is there a fixed amount? What is the changing amount? What am I looking for so that I can define my variables? Ask yourself those questions. In fact, I would pause the video and write down those questions that I just said. Let me say them again. What is the fixed amount? What is the changing amount? What are the variables I need to define? Okay? And if you can think of other questions, ask yourself questions, because if you ask yourself questions, yourself will start to answer you, because there's a little person inside you that's smarter than you realize. If you talk to yourself, yourself will start to talk back to you. In fact, if you want to, you could even make that little person inside you sound like Mr. Boyer. So you have like a little Mr. Boyer voice inside you telling you how to solve the problem. So that's pretty cool. Nothing crazy about that, right? So, you say, how do I do this? What should I look for? Do I have fixed variables? And you hear this little voice saying, yeah, you have a fixed variable. So anyhow, ask yourself questions, read it through carefully, and as you do more of them, you'll start to recognize patterns, and you'll start to be able to read through it and pick out the information more quickly. But always give it at least one good, careful read, and maybe two or three, no matter how good you get at it, because you never, you don't want to just assume. You want to give it a really good, careful read. Some people just write down the first equation that they can think of, and you definitely don't want to do that, because, you got a pretty good chance of picking the wrong one if you're not careful. But anyhow, I will talk to you again soon. You can do this, and you're going to be a story problem solving fool when you get done. People are going to be like, man, that guy can solve story problems all day long. He just loves to solve story problems. So talk to you again soon.